You need to move. And you've got 10 minutes. It's scary, isn't it? But you're not a real nomad till you get the knock. You gotta get the knock. Oh my gosh. You know, it was the first 3 years I never had the knock. I think it was on the 3rd or 4th year I got the knock. So the first knock I ever got was in Salt Lake City. I went there, I was going to start working at Amazon. But I had a week in between, and when I first got there, I went to this park. It's called Liberty Park. And I know some of you know that are watching this. So I spent the whole day there, and then I looked online, and I thought, oh, there's a Love's truck stop. It was not a truck stop. It was just more like a convenience store. Yeah, it was like a gas station. So I pulled out my bed, went to sleep. You know, and they keep knocking, but I'm way back there. So it takes a moment to wake up. What the heck is going on? I thought, oh, crap. I got a knock. My first knock. So then I climbed in and make sure that I was presentable and rolled down the window a little bit. It was a security guard. And he said, you can't stay here. If you plan on staying here, you got to go. And he said, you got about 10 minutes to move. He had gone around to a whole bunch of people. And I explained to him, I said, you know, I don't do well driving at night. Is there any way I can stay here? He said, nope, you gotta go. There's no way. So what was I gonna do? There's always something to do. Now, what I did was I knew that if I was going to start working at Amazon, but I also had worked there before. So I knew that in their parking lot, they don't go around and check cars, and they don't give tags to people's cars. They might now, but I don't know. Well, so I had to drive, and it was kind of a long way. I'll tell you about Salt Lake City just briefly. Joseph Smith built, he did that little history. He built the city up against a big mountain. It was a mountain, and it was just pretty much flat. Oh, here comes a train. Woo, woo. It's very noisy here. Okay. It's not so bad. It's only when the engines go. So I'll talk kind of loud. But, you know, we all kind of like a train noise, so I'm going to leave it in. Well, okay, so the whole city is built against a mountain. So you really can't go all the way around the city, right? Here's the mountain, here's the city, like this, and then everything else is over here. So you got lanes of highway just stacked on top of each other. And I will mention that Google even has a hard time with the satellites coming down. Google was constantly taking me the wrong way because it didn't know exactly where I was when everything's stacked up. Well, anyways, I did make it to Amazon, and I slept for the night. I did. But here's what you need to do. And I will mention, I'll mention all the times I got the knock. It's scary to get the knock. Don't worry. These are things you can do. You know, I didn't even think to ask them. Or did I? I don't even remember. But one thing you can do is ask them, say, where do you suggest I go? Because I didn't want to drive around a neighborhood at night. So I just punched in Google Maps. I punched in Amazon warehouse and drove there. It took about 15, 20 minutes to get there. I don't drive well at night. I did recently have a comment that said, if it's at night, and I can't drive at night, what should I do if I get a knock? Well, okay, I'm going to tell you what you have to do. Either you go off by yourself and find a place, or you ask them, usually it's a security guard, you ask them where you can park. There goes the last engine. Or just move. You're just going to have to go. You have to go. Punch in somewhere. Punch in if it's a big place, it might be an Amazon warehouse. Check out if there's a Cracker Barrel. Check out if there's a is it Cabela's? It might be Cabela's or Home Depot. is there a truck stop close by? If you're in a city and you're kind of on the outskirts of it, see if there's a rest stop close by. Because if it's at night, it's going to be hard to be driving around trying to find a place. So punch it in. And even a Walmart, call them at Walmart and say, can I park in your parking lot? Just say it's just for one night. Yeah. Okay. So that's what happened to me. That was my first knock. I'll tell you my second knock. It was at the Amazon warehouse when I started. It was the night before. What I did then was I just went to Amazon to sleep. From now on, I just went there at night. And I went there before it got dark so I could drive there. Well, this was during the week I got the knock. Again, I was parking kind of way over, away from everybody. I'm just kind of off by myself. Well, I did get the knock. And it was a security guard at Amazon. And I just explained to him, I said, hey, look, I'm new in town. I'm going to start working here in just about a week or a few days. And I just needed to sleep for the night before I find a place and all that, you know. And he says, oh, that's fine. He says, but I will tell you that we've had a rash of break-ins on cars. So what I suggest is get with everybody else and go over there and say, oh, thank you. I went back to sleep. So that was my second knock, and I got it within just a couple days. So Salt Lake City was a real hot spot for getting the knock. Now, the third time, I actually didn't get the knock. Paul did. We were at the Grand Canyon, and we were parked at the Mathers parking lot. Now, the year before, I stayed there. I mean, the park is open it says it's open 24/7. So I thought, well, okay. And when I first stayed there, the first night, a year before this happened with Paul, I wanted to get up and see the sunrise, okay? So I thought, well, why would I want to drive there at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning? So I just spent the night there. Well, because it said it was open 24/7, so the next year I was with Paul, and this is the first time he had seen the Grand Canyon, well, since he was a child. So, he got the knock. It was I think it was 10 at night, he got the knock. And a security guard came, or ranger, and said, if you plan on spending the night here, you can't. You have to move. So Paul came and woke me up. I was sleeping. Came and woke me up, and I thought, well, why can't I be here? He doesn't know I'm sleeping in here. It's open 24/7. Well, I still don't know the answer to that, right? I don't know the answer. So we got up, and we didn't even ask him. We should have asked him, because there were other places around that we could have parked. Long Jim's Lane, I think Long Jim's Lane is there. I mean, I didn't know about that. Max has told me about this afterwards. But yeah, so what we did was we drove in the dark at midnight all the way back to Flagstaff. And we stopped and we slept at Pilot at the truck stop there. But here's the deal. Driving at night like that, at night, and there's no street lights. It's just, I think it's Highway 65 or 64, 65. It's just, it's a whole hour drive just straight down 2 lanes is all. I mean, a deer, they have so much deer there, they could have come out and just jumped in front of us, and we're going 65 miles an hour. It was dark. We didn't see that was grueling. We were not happy by the time we ended up at 1 o'clock in the morning. We ended up at Pilot. That was miserable. So, but there were places we could have parked. We just didn't ask, and we didn't know where else to go. So that was the third time we got the knock. The knock. So by then, we're really true nomads, right? Cheers. So the fourth time, got the knock. I was with Paul. We were in Vegas, and we decided we wanted to go to Flagstaff. That was the first year we both came to Flagstaff. Well, we stopped in Las Vegas to spend the night, and there was a Cracker Barrel. Yay. Well, Paul got the knock again. He knocked, a security guard, and he said that the casino owns the whole parking lot, also the Cracker Barrel parking lot, and we could not spend the night there. Well, Paul was pretty smart, and he said, do you have any suggestions? We're new here. Where could we stay? And he pointed, it was just like barely a mile away, maybe even half a mile. This one place, I think it was near a McDonald's, but yeah, so we did, and we pulled in, we parked, we saw a couple other RVs there, and we spent the night. Then we went across to McDonald's and got some coffee in the morning. So it's always a good idea to ask, and it's now we understand. If you're new in town, always call. We should have called the Cracker Barrel and said, can we spend the night there? We wouldn't have like hunkered down there. We did go in and patronize it. We always do. But there you go. Then you got another knock. You got the knock going on. So there you go. Okay, now I had to write them down. Okay, number 5. Okay. Oh, yeah, number 5. Oh, this was a good one. Oh my gosh. You know, I talk about parking in neighborhoods. Oh yeah. And we had picked a neighborhood. It was pretty in between neighborhood. We parked there for a few nights, and all of a sudden we started noticing at night there was this huge floodlight pointing at us. Well, didn't bother me too much because I've got really good window coverings and I can block out all light with my window coverings. Well, it was about the second week that we parked there. You know, it wasn't a grand home, my goodness. And I pulled in and he knocked on my, I was just sitting in, I just pulled in. And I didn't even roll down my window. He goes, you can't park here. And it was still light out. It was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was in winter, so the sun was starting to go down, but it was still light out. He goes, you can't park here. And I said, why? And he goes, well, he goes, you're in front of my house. And he goes, I don't like it. And I said, well, we can park here if we want to. I'm just parked here. It's not even dark yet. And which is true that legally I can park there if I want to. It's on a street. It's not a highway. And he goes, well, there's a lot of theft around here and you're making me nervous. I said, well, that's too bad, isn't it? I mean, I go, I'm just sitting here. And Paul hadn't arrived yet. I think he stopped at a store. And he goes, well, I don't want you parking here. And I said, well, I can park here. I mean, it's a free country. I can park here. It's a street. I can park here. And he goes, well, this is a highway. And I said, what are you talking about? He was being a dick is what he was. And it wasn't even in front of his house. It was on a side street. The front of his house was on this street. I was parked right here on, going this way. And I said, no, it's not against the law. I can park here anytime I want to. This is not a highway. And, and then finally he wouldn't leave. And I said, I'm going to call the police if you don't get away from my car now. Because you're harassing me now. Eventually he left. I think it was like a minute or so. He just sort of stood there like this. I said, you're harassing me and you need to go. Well, when Paul got there, we decided, yeah, we'll go park someplace else. But it's not against the law. They want to make it against the law. It wasn't even in front of his house. It wasn't even in front of his house. And it's legal to park there. And there's no ordinance in Tucson that you can't park in a neighborhood. That's what's great about Tucson. And I think all of Arizona, I mean, you can park in a neighborhood if you want to. As long as you're not making noise, you're not breaking any laws. Okay? Well, so that was that. Yeah, he was just kind of being a dick. So, now, the next one was also in a neighborhood. Now, this was the year before. And I had this one spot. I just loved it. I like a spot if you can guess, like, if a house has a wall. In Tucson, there's a lot of walls. They have brick walls. And there was a brick wall in front of the house. So I could park there, but there was another house here, and I would park sort of in between. And I didn't feel like looking for a spot all the time, so I just parked there every single night, right? seemed safe to me. I want to be safe. Well, towards the end, at the very end of the winter, it was very soft. You could hear it. And I'm laying down going, that's weird. It was very, very soft. Well, you know what? I just didn't answer. If it was a cop, it would have been, yeah. I just didn't answer. I just stayed real quiet. There's no law against parking there, and I don't know why. I suspected it was the house with the wall. But if you park sort of in between two houses, sort of, they don't know who's visiting who. But yeah, I mean, it's not against the law. So that was those, and there were only 6. I thought there were 7, but there were only 6 times, right? So here's the places you can find. I'll reiterate them. If you get the knock and you need to go somewhere right away, Cracker Barrel, a truck stop, Amazon parking lots, hotel parking lots, hospital parking lots. Some of them, I know in Tucson, in a couple of the parkings in Tucson, you have to pay. But so what? Is it $4 for the night? And in airports, you do have to pay in airports. But if if it's one of those times where you haven't found during the day if you want to do a neighborhood, you're going to have to go during the day to find something usually. But, it's a place to park. So here's also suggestions for your car. Make sure your vehicle is clean. It's going to keep you from getting those knocks, like, oh, we're doing a welfare check, which is basically another way of saying we're calling the cops because we don't know who you are and we don't want you parking in front of our house. Well, as long as there's no ordinance, so clean your clean your vehicle. Boop, gotta talk. It's better not to have dents and bangs in your car. It just makes it look better. A lot of people have those carriers, those Thule carriers above on the roof. I mean, they're great. They're just great. And they're not always going to be a red flag. But for me, I don't like them up there. I want to be as stealthy as possible. So I don't have one. You just want to have a regular vehicle like an SUV, a car, a minivan, even a high top, but you don't want stickers all over it. That's one thing about Paul. He has the stickers on the back, so it makes him look like a traveler. But, a lot of people drive them just for regular cars, like the high tops, the ProMasters. You want to be quiet when you get there. Be quiet, which we always are. I always am. You want to arrive late and leave early. And you want to have window coverings up. Now, my window coverings, the ones I have on the outside that people can see, they're black. It's black felt. Some people still use the, for your side windows, they still use, the silver. I mean, if you're just parked there if you're a regular car parked in a neighborhood and you live there, nobody's going to put those side windows up. So you want them to be black so at night it doesn't, scream like somebody's in here. Now, the front window, I have my screen up, my shield. And of course, that's going to be reflective, right? But I will mention in Arizona, everybody uses windshield screens. We just do. The sun is so bright, it will kill your dashboard. So, yeah. So and then all these windows are covered. I have my curtains up here. So that's your best bet to not get the knock and to be so noticed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah. I've got a bracelet. Here, let me show you this one. This is really nice. Well made. I love it. And it goes with this. These are mine. It goes with this. This is mine. And it goes with this. This is for sale on minivanlee.com. Easy to put on. Very 60s, don't you think? This is very 60s, right? Okay. Well, I'm going to carry on with my day. I'm going to go on inside. And I love you guys. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Go to minivanlee.com for all neck gaiters. For jewelry, I got the burbs. Oh my goodness. For neck gaiters and jewelry and oh my gosh. And I've got one more of these left too. Yeah. This is very solid. Very gorgeous. There's one more left. Grab it. Love you. Bye.